Welcome, folks, and thank you for coming. My name is Susan Moulter. I'm one of the 20 people who helped found the League of Women Voters of Steuben County back in 2006. When the members of the Steuben League back in January decided to have a meeting like this, they felt quite sure that it was important. We didn't know how many people out in the general public would think it was important. And I think the turnout tonight shows that a lot of people do. Before I get to the format of the program, I need to dispel 3 myths or misunderstandings about the League of Women Voters. Because we have kept our same name for over 90 years, a lot of people still think it's a women's organization. It's not. We have had men as members of the League of Women Voters since the 1970s. And right now at the Steuben League, 1/3 of the board members happen to be men this year. Secondly, we are nonpartisan. And as many times as I and other people have defined this publicly, we still find people not understanding what nonpartisan means. It means we never support or oppose a political candidate running for office. And we never support or oppose a political party. That's what nonpartisan means, and the League is nonpartisan. The third point is that even though we're nonpartisan, we do take stands on issues, and that's where people get confused. But we take stands when we have studied an issue, sometimes for 2 years. Needless to say, the League of Women Voters of Steuben County has not studied the pros and cons of expanding the Chemung County landfill. But the League nationally, for decades, has studied environmental problems and has positions supporting clean air, clean drinking water, clean watersheds. You could really summarize it as saying, we support things that enable us to have air that's safe to breathe and water that's safe to drink. And the reason we're holding this educational meeting tonight is because next Tuesday, March 4th, is the last day by which we, the public, can make comments to the Chemung County Legislature about this issue. And we have a handout to give you when you leave tonight that shows where to mail or take your comments by next Tuesday. I'd now like to introduce the co-moderator, Elizabeth Whitehouse, from PHE, which stands for People for a Healthy Environment, the co-sponsor of this evening. And Elizabeth is currently on the board of PHE, and she'll tell you about PHE and introduce the speakers. Elizabeth?
Okay, so to start with PHE, as Susan said, it stands for People for a Healthy Environment, and our mission is based on the idea of a grassroots organization dedicated to informing and inspiring fellow citizens to safeguard our air, water, soil, and to maintain the health and natural beauty of our environment. PHE is probably best known as being vehemently anti-fracking, but that's only one part of it. That's the sort of negative, if you like. We're also very much in favor of renewable, clean, sustainable energy, and that is possibly even more important. So we like to think of ourselves as a forward-looking, positive organization, not just one that's against something. So, and if anybody is interested in finding out more, we have, when is our next meeting? March 19th, and it's held at 6 o'clock at the Horseheads Library. Anybody who's interested is welcome to come to our meeting and find out a bit more. So now to introduce the speakers. Which order should I do it in? I think we'll give preference to the gentleman who's already here. We won't leave out the other one, but if he doesn't turn up, then it's a one-man show. So Larry Shilling, who is standing over there by the door, is the Vice President for Landfill Marketing and Business Development for Casella Waste Systems. He's held that position since April 2013. Prior to that, he was the Regional Vice President for the covering New York, Pennsylvania, and Vermont. Casella is involved with collection, recycling, and disposal of all types of waste matter, including organics. I'm delighted to hear, because I'm very big on composting. And so I want to find out more about that. Casella employs 1,800 people, 500 of them in New York State. It is a publicly traded company and has engaged with a number of public-private partnerships with several upstate communities. They have landfills in Chemung County, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And the Hakes Landfill in Steuben County and the Hyland Landfill in Allegany County. Larry presented testimony on behalf of the company to the Senate Standing Committee on Energy Conservation at a public hearing to examine wastewater produced by hydraulic fracturing in January of 2011. Casella also hosts open houses at their landfills from time to time for the public to go and find out more about how it works, and that it's not just a big frightening hole in the ground. So that might be something people are interested in the future, to just go and see what it's all about. The other speaker is Gary Abram, an attorney in private public interest law, focusing on environmental and land use regulation, administrative proceedings, and civil litigation. He's based in Allegany, and he maintains several blogs, including one about tonight's issue, also about the fact that New York towns can ban and regulate wind farms, and that New York towns can ban and regulate solid waste landfills. Mr. Abrams' publications include Concepts of Community and Environmental Dispute, The Market for Environmental Justice, and Inconvenient Truths About Wind Energy. For both gentlemen, if they want to supply any more personal details, they'll have to do it themselves.